Sorry. Oh, mate, I've just
What
had.
a start, man. Me picking my nose there, eh?
Well, even better than that, mate. I was going to say, normally I ask you before it, I was like, what episode this and who's introducing it? I think it's me, but I've no idea what episode. Is it 25? Is it? Episode 25?
24, 24.
Right, episode 24. Welcome to Fit With Us, episode 20. Is it me that's introducing this one, is it? It is me, isn't it?
It is new, mate. It is new.
And yeah, possession's 9/10 of the game, mate. So, yeah, welcome to episode 24 of Fit With Us. Gary, how are we today?
Good, mate. Mate, what a fucking start. That's my favourite start to a podcast ever, man. Me pick my nose and you know what the fuck's going on.
To be fair, mate, me not knowing what the fuck's going on happens most weeks. You picking your nose in the hand.
True, man, true. How you getting on?
I'm going to be honest, mate, it's a disastrous week, an absolute calamitous week. If you wrote a week and you like, how do we sabotage Kyle and his tracks this week? You wouldn't have been able to write it better than what's happened. So, long
Talk me
story.
through it. Talk me through what's happened.
It's a long story long you're getting on this one. So the last couple of weeks have been the busiest we've been probably since we've ever started with just myself, Shannon, everything else. Tons of new people on board. Jen's pregnant for anybody who's not known. I think it's mine, so we're still good with that at the moment.
Oh,
But
you're getting the blame anyway.
getting the blame for now. But anyway, so on Monday, which is the busiest day I have, Jen halfway through the day is like, I think my water's broke. I'm like, oh fuck, this is 6 weeks earlier than what she's due. I'm like, Jen, I can't be dealing with this on a Monday. Of all days, I can't do this on a Monday. I have the
Yeah.
busiest day ahead of me. And she's like, no, I think it has. I'm going to go round to the doctor. The doctor's only around the corner from me. So she walked round to the doctor. The doctor said to her she needs to go to the hospital. I'm like, ah, fuck. Thankfully for me, she still needs to pack her bag. And in good husband fashion, I didn't help her at all. I decided I was staying on the laptop, doing as much work as I could, in hope and fear that this baby wasn't coming. So we went to the hospital, got there, they done the test, which didn't look pleasant. Fair play to any woman who has to get tested and that. Whatever. Turned out that Jen just got weak bladder control, so she's all right. She pissed herself, so we're fine. Came back on the Monday, didn't really have a great night's sleep because we're there all evening. Tuesday was fine, sorted. Wednesday, for the first time in my life, I think I had food poisoning or a sickness. I don't know which one it was, but I was up all night. I didn't know. I found out you could vomit and shit yourself at exactly the same time because I
Brilliant.
ran down the stairs with my hands in my hair. I don't know what was happening there, but I was like, oh fuck. And I thought I was going to be sick, but by the time I got to the toilet, my body had other ideas. So it was like, no, you're going to shit yourself. So it was like an elevator that crashed. It just went down the way, but then I had to be sick into the bath as well. So I was kind of
Oh,
leaning over. Up all night with that. And then see when you're sick and shitting yourself, see the thing that you don't want to do the next day is go to an antenatal class. Now, an antenatal class where they show you pictures of things that are yet to happen and come ahead, but when you're not feeling great, it's not the one. So had that Thursday straight to the hospital. We've now got, because Jen's diabetic, a date for a C-section. She's going to be on the 10th of May. So the baby will be on the 10th of May. Positives, mate, but it's also ruined the Celtic Rangers game for me on the 11th because
oh, it's the 11th, isn't it?
mate, I was literally messing with dad going, league decider, 12:30 on a Saturday, the fucking day of days. Now all of a sudden, I'm not even going to get to fucking see the thing. I'm like, this is banjaxed it. So sleep deprived a lot this week. Still not feeling great. Not being able to keep food down, and also my future weekends have been ruined by a child that's not yet born. So come on.
Brilliant, man. What a fucking thing you're having. That's 2 weeks in a row we've talked about people shitting themselves.
Well, I bet you're glad you asked how my week was, mate. I'm going to turn the tables. How has your week been? How are you?
I'll honestly, mate, a lot better than yours. The only thing that's fucked for me this week is my routine's all out of whack because two coaches from the gym are both on holiday for a week. So me and the other coach, the only other coach that's here, we're trying to kind of split the shifts between us. So I went from working back shift. Usually I'm 12:30 to 8:30 in the gym, but now I'm starting at 6 in the morning. So having to get up at 4:30, and my body is not used to it. So like my body feels like it's in shock, if that makes sense. Like it's just not used to it. I'm running off about between 4 and 5 hours sleep a night just now. Today, it's not too bad. Like I start at 6 and finish at 11, right? Which is decent. Get to be home by midday, lunchtime. Not today though. I'm on a split shift today. So 6 till 10, client in at 11. And then I need to train myself. And then I've got a 4 till 8 shift tonight. So there's no point in me going home. I'm just going to, there's a wee couch on in the office in the gym. So it's looking right good for a nap later. And then after the shift tonight, I'm going straight to a 40th as well. So I'll be in the corner drinking an alcohol-free Guinness, napping.
To be fair, mate, it does sound like a good plan. A nice wee nap and alcohol-free Guinness at the end of your day. That's the one, mate.
Aye, mate. I honestly like touching on the routine thing. Like, I didn't realize how much um routine was getting me through on a daily basis. Like, I don't get out of my bed until maybe 7:30 in the mornings. I've got my own wee kind of half an hour to an hour routine in the morning where I get up, feed the dog, get him out for a walk, feed myself, spend kind of 15, 20 minutes just doing something that I want to do. And then I get my head down and get to work sometime between 8:30 and 9 in the morning. And I didn't realize how much I'd got used to that until it got thrown out of sync this week. And now I feel like I can't get on top of things. I can't get on top of my work. I feel like I'm chasing my tail constantly, even though I'm just doing the same amount of work. Like, the workload's the same. It's not changed. It's just the timings have changed, and it's really fucked me up. And it's got me a wee bit stressed, and the anxiety levels are rising because I'm like, ah, my God, I can't. I don't feel like I can get on top of it, even though I am getting everything done. It's alien to me.
I love how you're
You know what I
still
mean?
calling that poke bum wank feeding the dog. You're feeding the dog in the morning.
Ah.
I, I like that, mate.
Don't let everybody know my fucking secret language, my secret code.
Listen, you started the podcast by picking your nose and eating it, so I hope you're tracking that on MyFitnessPal. Just I'm going to, before I go into this, I actually need to say we're getting our broadband changed, and there's somebody delivering a couch to us, so you might be able to hear drilling in the background, the dog barking,
Aye.
and there might be a little bit of delay in my latency. They promised that the broadband wouldn't go down, but who knows? But yeah, mate, I think
You're looking a wee bit jumpy, to be fair.
mate, it's just been one of those, similar to you, mate. It's been one of those weeks where routines just, I didn't expect to be doing the Fit With Us podcast as somebody knocking on the wall and somebody drilling at the same time whilst the dog's going mental. Sleep deprived as well. But I think the thing what you said there about routine, mate, 100% behind it. I think that the sooner you can make a routine like auto-regulated in the sense that you don't have to think about it, the easier things get. So, for instance, when I do steps in the morning, I know I get 4,000 steps before 9 o'clock because I don't need to think about them the rest of the day. I don't get that overwhelming sensation at the end of the day, no matter how busy it is, that all of a sudden I need to do 10,000 steps. It just breaks that down for me. Whereas because of the hospital trips and because of everything else, I've been super late, been up super early. It's just fucked my routine. It's fucked the dog's routine. It's fucked everybody's routine. Like, the sleep's just not there. But then I'm finding myself looking at my watch going, my steps are like, I finished a day on 8,000 steps the other day. I've not finished a day on 8,000 steps since like 1990 never on the 5th of July. Like, it just doesn't happen. So I was like, this is part of me though. I can see why people go, fuck it, I'm writing this week off. I'm like, because there's nothing, no matter how much time I try and get my wee head above water, it's like, as soon as I get my wee head up there to have a look, there's another big fucking wave coming, and it's like, oh, sound, better get my armbands on here because we're in for a bumpy day.
100%, mate. I completely agree with you as well. Like, routine, for the most part, is very important, especially for making your kind of day-to-day life easy to manage and easy to control. If you're in a routine, you end up going through quite a lot of the day without actually having to think about things. It's when your routine gets thrown out of whack and you actually need to use a wee bit of kind of brain power and mental bandwidth to be like, right, how can I navigate this day as best as possible? So yeah, like, routine for me, routine's very important. Some people just love the madness of life and all the different shit that it brings on a daily basis, and they embrace that. But for me, I'm the same as you, mate. Like, routine's very important in my life, for my lifestyle. So when it does get thrown out of whack, it really affects me. And it's hard to, like you say, it's hard to get your head above water.
Yeah, for just on that, I think one of the key things, like this isn't your average week. It's not my average week, and that's what I always say. Like when it comes to clients or people that you like, I even try to give myself advice. Going right, I think it's fair to say that you're not going to expect the absolute best results, but it doesn't need to be a car crash just because it's not an optimal. People often go, right, it's a car crash. So they just go into car crash mode where it's like, well, if I can't be perfect, you know what, next week I'm going to be a lot better because circumstances mean that I'm going to be a lot better, which is true in a sense, but you don't need to absolutely handicap yourself this week because of it. So I think that's a key. And then the second part to that would be where you can try and make as many things autonomous as you can. So when it comes to like steps, when it comes to food, like a lot of the time people find friction because they're like, oh, well, I can't have the foods that I want to have. And it's like, you can, you're making a bigger deal out of food than what it needs to be. It is more than just fuel, but you absolutely don't need every fucking meal to be a Michelin star restaurant foods that's served up.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, there can be enjoyed. For 10% less food enjoyment, you can get 90% more results. Just standardize it in the sense that, like, I have the same breakfast 360 days a year. Like, it's oats and a different version of whey protein. I get excited every month when there's a different flavour because I'm like, there's a month worth of new breakfast. But it can be, instead of putting dark chocolate in it, some mornings I put berries in it. Instead of putting berries, sometimes I put seeds in it. Like at Christmas time, I got told to put a bit of whiskey in it. Now that was an experience, whiskey in your porridge.
Oh.
Tell me you're in Ireland without telling me you're in Ireland. But yeah, mate, I'd say try and standardise your foods as best you can, standardise your routine as best you can. Job's a good one.
I've heard of Irish coffee before, but never Irish porridge.
Do you know what, mate? I kind of understood where Irish coffee came from, and it was by accident, but also on purpose, because there was one morning I woke up Christmas time again, hungover a few years ago, and I didn't know whether I needed another drink or a coffee, and I was like, fucking combine them both, and that's where it was. But
Yeah,
I was like,
there you go.
I was like, who has it? Why have people not thought of this? I'm like, oh, they have. It's called an Irish coffee, and that's why, because
There
the
you
Irish are
go.
always hungover and needing a wee bit of a done. So there you go.
A big fan of Irish coffee, man. Big fan. Right, let's talk about Joe Wicks.
Not even a bit of lube there, mate. Just straight in. Go on.
Straight in dry, man. I'm not fucking about today. You've probably seen me having a wee bit of a go at him on my stories. Not that he's going to fucking see it. He's got millions of followers. I've got 400. I don't even think I've got 400. I don't even think I've got how much. Maybe I've got 400, but he's never going to see me having a pop at him. But basically,
Gary, hold on.
Yes.
You had 436. You've now got 435 because I unfollowed you, but you're good.
Yeah, fucking asshole.
Sorry, go on, Joe Wicks.
So an article came out about him. I think it was last weekend. It was after we recorded the last podcast episode, and it was basically saying that children's diets are the reason that so many of them are getting diagnosed with ADHD. And he got a fuck ton of backlash off the back of it because it's a lot of nonsense. Like your diet and ADHD are not linked in any way, shape, or form. Oh, Rocky's want to get involved. You muted yourself.
Mate, I've been muting myself on and off all the way through because Rocky's on edge. But yes, mate, I'm going to mute until you finish your point and I'll jump back.
No, that's okay, mate. Is he having a go at the drills?
Mate, he's having a go at life this week, mate. He's an epitome of how I feel.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So he's essentially no Rocky, obviously Joe Wicks. He's linked diets in young children to is it a neurodevelopmental disorder? Do you know? It's a neuro something disorder. Kyle, help me out here. Do you know neurodevelopmental ADHD?
Well, neurodevelopmental is to do with your brain's ability to whatever. I'm going to just hit out with big words there, and it's not going to help the matter. So yes, as far as I'm aware, mate, you made it sound good, and I think you're right. Yeah.
Aye. No, I think it is a neurodevelopmental disorder. So he's linked actual diets to a neurodevelopmental order, which is something to do with the brain. And the fucking backlash he got off the back of it was absolutely wild. And I am so glad that he did because the guy is an absolute balloon. yes, he's good at jumping about his living room and looking like a fucking. Actually, I could have said something that got cancelled there. Looking like a fucking idiot is what I'll say. But yeah, I know he's got a few cookbooks and stuff, but that doesn't mean he knows what the fuck he's talking about. He pretends that he's in the shape that he's in because he does hit workouts in his living room. He doesn't look the way he does because he does hit workouts in the living room. He looks the way he does because he lifts weights. He trains very hard, but he doesn't let people know he trains hard in the gym because it doesn't sell. Like he wants to get all the mammies that are in the house feeling shit about themselves, jumping about the living room and paying him to show them what to do. He can't sell a single mum or two who's never been in a gym in a life, a gym program. So he's then selling them a hit program, do this, look like me, blah, 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 eat all these foods, foods that are really high in fat, really high in calories. And then he comes up with this utter nonsense that kids' diets are why they are getting ADHD as if it's fucking contagious. It's absolutely mind blowing. And then see the day after the article came out, lo and behold, he releases a new cookbook.
Did you buy the cookbook?
What do you make of that?
Did you buy the
What a
cookbook?
fuck that guy, man.
What do you make of them apples, mate? I like that you just threw all that out there and go, what do you make of it? So,
First of all, like anything that I said that you disagree with, because
I,
I like
I,
a wee bit of disagreement.
mate, I would be honest, I always try and look at what could stand and what doesn't. And the first thought that went through my head is whatever happens from what you put into your body is going to affect, firstly, how you look and how you feel, but also there can be correlations between how your body responds and like it can cause disease. But with that, it would need to be scientifically backed and there would need to be studies done over a period of time. And now I've not seen anything about fucking Joe Wicks since he started doing the last I genuinely seen of him was leaning 15s where he was doing 15-second Instagram videos. So I know that he's been on like BBC programs and stuff, but I don't actually know much about him. I don't know what you're talking about in terms of like I've not seen what you've said. I've seen you having a dig at him on Instagram, but genuinely him, Eddie Abu, all that, I don't see any of the shit. I don't pay any attention to them. But I'd need to look into it because I've not seen any fucking studies to say that. I do know that there is, and I've heard a lot, and there is studies linking childhood trauma and stress to a lot of disability. Like I know that stress typically affects your I'm not even going to go into things I'm not qualified in. I know that stress can cause outcomes that typically are disabilities and later in life. But I wouldn't say that okay, if it is scientifically backed, I need to have a look at studies, so I can't comment on it. But where I would probably go with it is, as you said, Joe Wicks, he's got a platform because realistically, moving more and eating better will, for a lot of people, help them. It's not tailored towards MD. But the problem is when somebody's growing a platform to that level, people start to buy into what everything he says because they start to go, well, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's in good shape. Yep. He's walking social proof. Obviously what he does is like is bona fide because people like to think that just jumping about in your living room and eating 15-minute recipes is going to be the be all and end all. And for a lot of people, that 100% will be a better outcome than what they're currently doing. And I don't disagree with that at all. But should that person then have like a platform to then start speaking about like again things that they're not overly qualified in terms of like it was the ADHD that you said it was meant to be. But the same issue happens during like COVID lockdown and everything else, where people, celebrities, influencers, all that, with platforms on completely different things. Like a week before COVID kicked in, they were fucking trooping about in underwear trying to give like discount codes to something. And the next week they're talking about how it's a conspiracy and the government's against you. And I'm like, I don't know what qualifications gives you, but you've got a big audience who then start believing, and this is the biggest issue that we have with misinformation. Right. So in a roundabout way, mate, I don't disagree with anything you said. I've not seen it, but I can understand why it's now got to this situation if it's not scientifically backed and why people believe it. But yeah,
it's not scientifically backed. Your diet and ADHD are not linked in any way, shape, or form.
Nope.
That is just his personal opinion of how he was when he was a kid. He had a high sugary diet. he was bouncing off the walls. I don't know if he's been diagnosed with ADHD. I didn't really read into it too much, but he's just gone based off of his personal experiences. He did release an apology video, when he said that the article actually twisted what he said, which is 100% believable. Never trust a journalist, but what he said off the back of that was that's not what he said. The words got twisted. What he actually said was children's diets are why so many, something along the lines of their diets are why he believes so many children are getting misdiagnosed with ADHD. So that he's now claiming that children are being diagnosed with ADHD when they don't actually have ADHD. So I don't know what's fucking better. Genuinely, the two of them are just as bad as each other.
It is a hard one, mate, because I have some beliefs myself in terms of like my personal belief to throw it out there is the likes of TikTok, Instagram, Reels, all of these things shorten your attention span. And I think with
Yeah.
that, you are seeing, whether or not be ADHD, you're seeing a lot of symptoms of people just not be able to fucking pay attention to things. And you see, like,
Aye.
in my personal but probably accurate opinion, you see that affecting kids a lot more because they don't have attention spans to do things that don't give them an automatic return. So if I have a big audience and I say that and people start like believing me, that could then get clipped, and all of a sudden it could be whoever wants to put it up goes, Kyle Watson believes that TikTok causes ADHD. So from a point of view,
Aye.
I'm not saying I feel sorry for Joe Wicks because I actually still am going to stick because I'm just going from different angles. I don't fucking know what has happened. But
Yeah.
from that point of view, I can understand how it can be difficult when you have a platform. When you say one thing, it does get taken out of context, but also when you start getting this messiah complex where you think that everything that you touch turns to gold and that you have the answer to solve people's problems, you can start coming out with these outlandish statements and start believing you're all bullshit because people around you start to create that echo chamber where you're going, you're 100% right.
Like Eddie Abu.
Yeah, like Eddie Abu. What age is Eddie Abu? Do you know?
50, 50 or 60.
The only positive I can take from Eddie Abu is the fact that people have forgotten about V-Shred. Like he's been left in
Oh,
because of that.
mate, have you seen the V Shred's new ads? It's not actually that Vince guy doing them now. He's got other people doing them.
Probably just as well because everybody knows he's a charlatan now. He's like everybody has that picture of him. It's almost like when he's in the pub going, "This guy is banned from this pub." He's known everywhere for being that guy.
Aye, aye, he's a fucking clown. 60, Eddie is 60 or 61.
Yeah, good shape for being
Uh,
60, isn't he? Good
Oh,
shape.
fantastic shape, but that's not to do with the eggs he's eating. That's to do with the juice that he took.
I'm going to get
The
some of that
the
Ribena when I'm 50.
extra, aye, the extra vitamins. Aye, so V-Shred's new marketing technique is getting other people to do his ads for him because man, he's been outed so many times and he just doesn't stop.
Yeah, yeah. I don't blame him. To be fair, if I was V-Shred, I'd get other people to do my marketing. To be fair,
Aye.
he's a good-looking boy. I think he's just
Mate,
misplaced.
he's in such good nick.
You kind of look at that going, that's just wasted talent. That is like
Yeah.
you could be doing so much more with it. And now I'm sure he'll claim that his bank balance and whatever is whatever, but I'm like the impact you're creating on the world, like you could be doing so much more with yourself. Like just
Yeah.
wasted, man.
Stop being a dick. I actually know somebody that bought one of his programs and see when they told me, I was like, no, 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 no. Uh, but that's what it is. He's very, very good at marketing, clever, knows what he's doing. Obviously spends a lot of money on his marketing and makes a lot of money off of the ads. Because when you watch the ads, like if we were just kind of, if we were just an average Joe, for example, scrolling on Facebook and we seen his ads and we were feeling shite about ourselves and we'd just get tore into a big tub of Ben and Jerry's. We'd just came off the back of having a large Domino's as well, 2 for Tuesdays, sitting on the couch, feeling gluttonous, feeling disgusting, and then his ad pops up and goes, look at the shape I'm in. you can get in this shape while still eating pizza and ice cream and not cutting out carbs. Hit this button here, I'll give you a free, I think a free test or something to show how much calories you need to eat and all that. Bang, bang, bang. You're going to buy into it. You're absolutely going to buy into it because his marketing's clever. And if you didn't know half the stuff that he was talking about is a lot of shite, you're 100% going to fall for it.
I was at a, I was in a room with a guy who was talking about marketing quite recently, and he was talking about how some of the best companies in the world market things. He went, what you need to market towards if you're wanting to be like, you're talking like fucking super successful, is like you need to market it towards lazy people with instant results. And he's like, yeah, and if you can put emotion in there, you've got the trifecta of essentially that's where it works. And he's like, do you want take a guess at what the most successful website on the internet is? Do you want to take a wee guess, mate? I'll give you 10 seconds.
I want to take a wee guess. The most successful
Successful internet business based on the fact lazy people, instant response on emotion.
Amazon.
Pornhub.
Oh, fucking hell. Fair enough, man.
And it's like you've got that because they've engineered it for lazy people for an instant response that can cultivate emotion.
Yeah.
You look at that and you look at absolutely anything. What he's done is obviously targeting it towards lazy people, giving them an easy solution, going, you don't actually need to change. They've actually removed accountability from it. It's going, it's not your fault, it's your body type. And I'll tell you what, you can pizza, you can still eat pizza. It's just because you've not been doing it right for your body type. Here is a free, easy, there you go, thing to assess your body type. Cool. And you know what? It's also cheap to get involved. So it's like a tenner or something. So you literally sign up, and it's like he's then got a tenner from people who essentially are lazy, who again, it's just the way that it's. Unfortunately, he's not. From my opinion, he's not helping them. I actually made an argument for Joe Wicks to a point, helping people in the sense that like jumping about. If he stays in his lane and he's going, look, we're just trying to create more exercise, getting you moving, and we're going to try and give you some tasty recipes that are better than you like while doing on a Chinese every night, then 100%, like he's doing. But the moment he's then going, well, this is the only thing you need to do and there's no other way of doing it, that's where you start to cross the line and go, well, actually, that's not entirely correct and that's not good coaching. But you then have the issue of, would Joe Wicks have been able to scale to the level he has if he was just coaching people on a one-to-one basis? Absolutely fucking not. So there is that fine line, but people, when they start to get to that level, start to generally, like money then starts to create this. I'll give you an example. So V-Shred will be looking at the fact that he's probably got 10 people that have signed up that he's got great results with. He won't care about the 90,000 that haven't got results. He'll be looking at those 10 people going, well, I've impacted 10 people's life. What have you done? And to a point, you can go, right, fair enough. But also, the churn rate is like 89,900. And you're like, 990. Sorry, shite maths, PTs can't count. But you get my point there?
100%, mate. Completely agree. And you know what? I think that's the thing where a lot of coaches online that have a lot of followers, they will zone in and focus on the 5 to 10 people that they've had a result with and not really care about the rest of them. And from what I can see, from my point of view, a lot of PTs that have got a high following also have an incredibly high churn rate as well. And it is for that reason, because they're not good at actually one-to-one coaching. They've just got a group. That sounds really fucking strange, given that I work in a group with 300 people. Totally different to what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that have got academies that get upwards of 10, fucking 10,000 people in it. There's no chance they care about what you're doing.
No.
That's too many people for them to handle. It's not personal, even though they claim it's personal. It's not personal. They've probably got templates for your calories, templates for your programs already set out, and it's just a case of, right, there you go. If you're doing well, great. We're going to use you as a testimonial. If you're not doing well, I don't care because I'm loaded.
I would agree. For myself, I've pushed limits of how many clients I can take on. Last year, I took on myself over 60 clients at one point and was like, I found that incredibly tough to manage in the sense that like there's always a to-do list to do no matter how many clients you've got. Like, but
Yeah.
I found that to-do list was just, it got to the point where it was overwhelming, where the things that really need dealt with were so high that I couldn't actually give the service. And actually I had a few people I had to message at the end of it going, look, the service levels, they're just not where I want them to be.
Yeah.
As I had to put my hands up and say that, because ultimately the standards I keep for myself are there. So I found a kind of good number for me is between 50 and 55, that like I can manage that quite comfortably and give a good level of service. But anything more than that, and again, we've got Shannon now, so obviously she helps with, like, again, bringing the total number of biofitness clients up. But I found anytime I've gone above that number, because still at times used to get notions going, I'll be fine, I'll take on another 10 or I'll take on whatever. And to be fair, you can't keep a level of service. But I think that's where people get upset about gym challenges, like, and fat loss challenges, and I'm actually not dead against them. Like, I feel that people get burnt with them, and it's like, oh, I got put on 1,200 calories and I had to go to the gym 5 days a week and all that. I'm like, yeah, but like you also kind of signed up for something that's a 6-week fat loss challenge. That you paid 50 quid
Lose
for.
as much weight as you can in 6 weeks, that sort of stuff.
And you paid 50 quid for it, and they're like, oh, nobody ever checked on me. I'm like, I know, but you, like, be realistic. Like, you spent very little on it. Like, I know it's relative, but like you spent little on it. It's less than a tenner a week. You jumped in a group that's probably got 500 people in it. There's like, it's not going to give you the service levels you want. There's a difference between doing that and doing, like, one of the conversations I used to have with people signing up with me is like, they were so burnt by these type of challenges when I'm telling them it's going to be 3 times the price than what they've paid, or 4 times the price than what they've paid for that. But I'm like, but it's not just because I'm a coach and they were coaches. The way that things have been delivered are very, very different in terms of the way we deal with things, and people are still reeling from those type of things. But I would make an argument to say they do work. They're just not individualized, not personalized. I wouldn't expect them to be. It's very rare you're ever going to get something like that people are going to go above and beyond for you. But if you are going to do, if you go into it willingly and knowing what it is, and let's say you do have a wedding in fucking 6 weeks and you've left it too late, which is why we never ideally look at you going into the deep end of things, they can be effective. It's just understand what you're actually signing up for and what that takes.
I agree with that. Understanding what it is you're actually signing up for. Don't get hit by a car salesman pitch. Do a bit of research, know what it is that you're actually signing up for. And then, if you do pay 50 quid for a 6-week challenge, it's only 50 quid. Let's be honest. It is only 50 quid. You know what you signed up for. It might not be for you. You might try the 1,200 calories in gym 4-5 times a week, stick at it for 2 weeks and then realize that it's unsustainable. But at the end of the day, that's what you signed up for. Don't leave it to 6 weeks before the wedding.
Spent less than a night out on it. Like, you've genuinely, like, it's...
Aye.
People get, like, I get it, you've invested in something, you want results, but just because you invest a minimal amount doesn't necessarily mean that the outcome is going to be dictated by that. Like, if I want to be healthy, just because I spent money on an apple doesn't mean I'm going to be healthy. Like, it takes more than just doing that. I don't want to get too lost in the chasing this kind of low tier fat loss challenge, but I was only bringing it back to the point that I'm not discrediting, albeit the last time I see him was Joe Wicks doing, as I said, the 15-second videos when Instagram only let you do that. I don't think, from my experience, that Joe Wicks is entirely negative in what he does, what he originally set out to do anyway. I don't know what he does now and what his branding team and all that shit have been trying to do with him. I don't know, the ADHD thing sounds fucking off the wall. But I think there is still benefits. It's not to go to extremes, what's good and what's bad from it. And ultimately, like, even with us, as much as at one point you said we're professionals, not experts. Cheers for that, Gary. Top 5% of podcasts. But even though we are that and we have opinions and realistically we have qualifications and we are a good source of education, I would still, as you even touched on there, I would question absolutely anything that we are saying. If you don't agree with, then look, I'm happy to have a conversation with you about it. I'm happy to have a healthy debate. Sure. I had a call with somebody yesterday and I asked them, I was like, what do you think you need? And they told me what they think they need. And I'm like, cool, but I am going to disagree with you on this part of it. I'm like, you are right and you're wrong, but this is whatever. And I asked him at the end, I was like, how does that sound? What do you think and feel on that? And like a lot of time they're actually going, yeah, no, 100%, I can see that. I'm not asking you to 100%. If you don't if you disagree with anything we're saying, 100% go for it. But I would always look at whatever you're seeing online, like you can disagree with it. To be honest, there's stuff that I probably put out there that, like, even though you work with me, Gary, there's probably stuff that I say that you disagree with, and we have a conversation about it, and that's fine. And there's stuff that, like, I certainly disagree with that other people put up, and I'm like, there might be sometimes mates, there might be coaches and whatever, and it's fine to have that disagreements. And sometimes, you know what, I know this is a fucking tough one for people in the 21st century to understand. You both actually might be right, and you both might be wrong at the same time. Like it can happen. Like
the only thing that is a constant and is right in the health and fitness industry is calories in versus calories out. Everything else can be up for debate and can be questioned and can be spoke about from two different points of view.
Yes, I would. It's always about what can be evidence backed and proven consistently over time.
Yeah.
And when you have that, it's fine. I'm sure you're entitled to your opinion about your food, about your exercise, about what's worked for you, and that's absolutely fine. I'm sure there's validity in that, but at the same time, be prepared to be questioned on it, and be prepared to be, again, have whatever argument you have set up so that you can have that conversation. But I wouldn't be ignorant to other ways of doing things as well. Probably one of the biggest things that changed in my career was the fact that I've had to look at what can I be challenged on, and what can we look at things differently.
I love it. I love when people ask me why or what for or what works better or what do you think of this? I fucking love it because it gets. Have you got a lighter?
Yeah, mate. I've got a nice wee sea salt candle here.
Oh, superb. Yeah, I love when people. Oh, it's setting the ambience. I love when people ask. What?
Jen's just came into the room and she's looking for my attention. Just give me 2 seconds.
Right, Kyle's went on mute for any Spotify listeners. Oh, he's back.
Gary, they're about to cut the internet, change this fibre cable.
Cool.
They're about to go. I see if I end it, can you still? No, I can't. We're going to have to end the podcast.
No, it's all good, mate. It's all good. It's all good. We can pick it up next week. Yeah, we'll cut it there. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. Join us next week.
Get the EastEnders music on. There's a cliffhanger there.
I know. We'll leave that in a wee cliffhanger. But Kyle, where can they find you quickly?
Kyle_biofitness1. I've changed it. Gary, where can they find you?
Yes. Superb. At GMAC_health and fitness. I have not changed it. Thank you all for listening. Catch you all next week.
See you. Bye bye.